Mummies, welcome to Crystals and Coffee. Thank you for joining me. I'm running a bit late again. I'm sorry. It's been very busy my end and yeah, Christmas has kind of taken over. But I'm here and I'm ready to chat more following on from the reflections that we talked about last week. And I wanted to talk this week about putting some things in place, looking ahead to 2020. So I'm sat here, I've got myself a huge soy latte, so I've got my coffee, and as always, I have crystals pretty much around me, so we're all good to go. So I hope that you found last week's episode helpful in the sense to give you some food for thought at the very least about what you might need to reflect on for this year, what you might need to kind of process, face up to, put to bed, and either it's something that there's something you need to work on next year, or it's something that you want to firmly close off and leave in 2019. Regardless, it's very important to do reflections for good or for bad so that we are not bringing kind of toxic energy and toxic behaviors into our new year, that we obviously want to bring positive energy to and a great vibe and movement and motivation to. So this week, I wanted to chat a little bit about what you can do as your next step, because once you've done your reflections and you've maybe assessed a bit about what it is you need to leave behind, but you've also hopefully done some good reflections as well, and looking forward to the coming year, thinking about what it is or where it is that you'd like to be, say in 12 months from now. What would you like to have done? Where would you like to be? Where would you like to be headed? Where would you like to be firmly on your way to? It's not about necessarily, if it's quite a big overreaching goal, it may not be something that's doable in a year, but you want to be a lot closer to it in a year's time. So that can be a bit daunting as well, thinking, gosh, it seems like such a long way away. How am I ever going to get there? And then you think, well, what's the point, because it's so far away? And then you don't do anything about it, and we'll be here again in 12 months' time saying the same things, and that's what we don't want. We want you to be a bit further ahead. We want to give that mindset a bit of a change. So the easiest thing to do is to break it down, and I mean break it right down into teeny tiny little baby steps. This isn't about thinking about things that are too daunting. It's about doing things that you can maybe do even today or tomorrow, just something that's going to get you further to where you want to be. So whether that be doing some research on something, maybe you want to start up your own website, so maybe it would be a case of going online and purchasing your domain. There may be nothing on it yet, but you've got the domain, no one else can have it, it's yours. And big or small, that's a step closer, right? You have taken affirmative action. You've done something towards your goals. It can be something very, very small. In my case, I need to declutter my home because, as I've mentioned, I want to move house. Really want someone to buy my house. No one's bought it yet. I'm not bitter about it at all. No, I don't understand why no one wants to buy my home. But I'm hoping come New Year, it's just a sucky time of year for people. People aren't going to go out buying houses immediately before Christmas. So let's hope that come January, people are like, right, let's move house. Let's go buy that one. And I will be extremely happy. But whenever that happens, regardless, I need to declutter again. I did a big declutter a few months ago, and my family being my family, we filled it up again. So thinking about decluttering, or indeed when I come to move, packing up the entire house, fills me with dread when I think of it like that. To think of having to pack up an entire house into boxes makes me feel a little bit sick because I don't know where to start. So it's about breaking it right down. So for instance, I've got 2 storage units in my living room. So I might pick one day where I think, right, I'm going to do this one storage unit, and we're going to get this storage unit cleared out, and whatever's left is going to be packed up when the time comes. And I'll do that one storage unit that day, done and dusted. It's not overwhelming. It's one small thing. It's a little bit closer to my goal of decluttering. And then another day, I do the other storage unit. And then another day, I might do a bookcase. And it's about breaking it down into little tiny steps. So if you can, basically what you want to do is think about where you want to be in 12 months time, or something in particular that you want to achieve in 2020, and then work backwards. And it's a brainstorming exercise, first of all, where you basically have to write down everything, or pretty much everything that comes to mind. So it's kind of like a brain splurge onto the page or into the document, however you choose to do it. And it's about everything that you're going to need to do, or maybe not even what you're going to need to do, just things that are going to need to happen, steps that are going to need to be taken. Which, for instance, if like for me, again, I keep using the analogy of moving house, but there are some things I can't do. It's going to be up to solicitors to do, and conveyancers to do, and estate agents to do. But there's still all steps that need to be done, but they may need to be done by somebody else, but they still need to be fulfilled. So it's about putting in everything that needs to be done, and then you can break that down further into things that will be your responsibility. And then you can put that further about putting them maybe in a chronological order that, which may change. I mean, when you're going towards a goal, you don't know what life's going to throw at you from one month to the next. So make sure that you've got an open mind with it, and you can be flexible, and things may have to shuffle around. It's not set in stone. I mean, we're talking about a whole year here. An awful lot can happen, but you want that framework so that you have a direction to go in. And you may need to fill in more steps as you go along. Some may fall away as you go along. So it's about giving yourself a general framework. So pick out all the ones that you can be responsible for, put them into what you believe will be the order they need to be done in, and then if it's possible, then break down each of those, or just take one at a time. You don't have to do it all in one go. Like I said, this is about not being overwhelmed. This is about taking manageable chunks that's manageable for you in your time frame, in your schedule, that fits with your family. It's all about working for you. It's not about stressing you out and making you overwhelmed. It's completely the opposite. So you can break these down into little things that you might need to do. And then there may even be things, like I said, like for instance, purchasing a domain name, or doing some research, or looking something up that you weren't clear on. Like maybe there's a certain planning permission you need to get, or some sort of process that you need to follow, and you're not quite clear on it. Do some research. Get on the internet, do some research, make some notes. That's one thing off your list. It can be that small, and it needs to be something that you're going to find enjoyable, and you're going to want to do it, and it's going to feel manageable. Because otherwise, if you end up feeling overwhelmed, you're not going to want to do it, and that completely defeats the point. So there may be things that you can even break down that you can start doing almost right away. And for those things that you feel, yeah, I could do that. Yep, I can get on with doing that for now. Those sorts of things then that you can do, put them in your diary, put them on a calendar, and say, right, Thursday afternoon or Wednesday evening, I'm free. I can spend 2 hours doing that, and actually diarize it. Put it into your schedule so you know it's going to get done. And that's basically the same process you need to follow as the year goes on. Look at the next thing on your list, break it down, and then see what it is you need to do, and when you are able to do it, and put it in your planner, put it in your diary. Make sure you schedule it in, and go ahead and do it. Because basically I can give you all this advice and all of this guidance, but if you don't act on it, it's no good to anyone. Ultimately, it's down to you and what you have the will to get done, the motivation to get done, and just getting on and doing it, basically. And it may be that throughout the year things change, unexpected things might come up, your perspective may change, something may happen in another area of your life that dictates what's going to happen it's going to have like a knock-on effect. Then those are all sorts of things that are going to get thrown at you. There's no two ways about it. Things are going to happen. But that's also why you want to break down these little things so that you don't feel like you're not completely off kilter. It's not knocking the entire thing out of sync. It might just be at this moment in time you can't do what it is you plan to do. So it's about having that element of flexibility in it, and also checking in with yourself. You might want to do a monthly check-in or a quarterly check-in. Quarterly check-ins are something that I am very keen on. I have quarterly, at the very least, quarterly sessions with my coach, and we go through what we looked at last time, was what we talked about last time achieved, what else has happened in those 3 months, how has it affected it, what's going to happen in the next 3 months, how can we adjust, how can we adapt, how can we still keep moving forward. So it's those kind of things that are really, really helpful. So you may want to have, you may also have a coach or a therapist or a holistic practitioner, somebody that you confide in and that you're working through issues with. On the other hand, you may not have kind of a professional service, but you may have a close friend or somebody close in your family that you can confide in, and maybe they've got goals too, and you can be accountable for each other. So do these plans, exchange them with each other, and then meet up for coffee or a night in or order a pizza and go through your last 3 months based on what you had set yourself, and hold each other accountable. Know that these quarterly sessions are going to happen, and have it to, and you want it to be someone who will call you out and say, right, okay, so you didn't do this, why not, what happened, and talk it through and make those plans. And the underlying theme for all of this is about being proactive, about taking responsibility for what you want to happen, not just accepting what's happened. This is just the way it is. It doesn't have to be. There are things that you can do, and there are small little steps that you can take each and every day that may not feel like they're making a massive difference on their own. When you build them up across 12 months, you'll look back and you'll see how far you've come. That's the attitude that you want to move into this new year with. That's how you want to approach these goals, and really encourage yourself, because you're going to have down days. We all have days where we just think, ugh, can't be doing with this anymore. It's too difficult. It's too hard. Then give yourself some slack. Have a day off from it. Close the journal. Close the diary. Think, do you know what? Can't face that today. I'm going to have some time out from that and go back to it. But make sure you go back to it. Again, this is something you might want to get a friend, a relative, or your coach, or whoever involved, to make sure that you don't go too far off course. Having a kind of accountability buddy will really, really help. So that's basically all I'm going to talk about today, because I don't want to overwhelm you. I don't want your head to be spinning with all of this kind of, oh gosh, I don't know where to go from here, if you want to apply these things. So you might want to go back and refresh after Christmas, because obviously it's a busy time of year now, and listen to last week's episode about putting reflections in place. And then when you're comfortable with what you've done there, you could re-listen to today and start putting in your kind of like your own personal action plan. That's basically what this is, your little steps. And make sure that you're also factoring in all of the things that you would normally do as well. So you don't want to, unless there are things in your reflections that you've decided that you're going to cut out of your life and you're going to stop doing because they're a waste of time or they're toxic, then great, just freed up some time. But also bear in mind that you're still going to need your family time. You're still going to need time out for yourself. Still needing to take care of yourself, and still study or work, things like that. So it needs to be fit in with you. So don't try and overdo it. You don't have to do something every single day. It's about breaking it down, what's manageable for you. And of course, it's dependent on what your over the kind of umbrella goal is here, but it's about breaking it down into manageable sizes of things that you feel comfortable doing. So I hope that's been really helpful. It's the technique that I've used for the last couple of years, and the progress I've made when I look back over each of those years has been huge. It may not feel like it at the time, but when you start doing some reflections, even on a quarterly basis or a 6-monthly basis, or if you're doing it on a 12-monthly basis, whatever fits for you, you start to realize that if you hadn't taken this action, if you hadn't done this for yourself, you wouldn't have moved anywhere. You would still be in the same place, and it would still be a wish or a dream. So it does lie with you, and it does lie with wanting to put these things into action and grabbing life for what you want it to be. That's what this is. This is about making your coming year what you want it to be, and hopefully being able to manage what's thrown at you and keep moving forward. That's basically the message for 2020. And fingers crossed, please, everybody cross your fingers and send me some positive energy that my house will be sold in the new year, so that can start moving on for me, because that's the thing. I've hit kind of a roadblock in my plan at the moment, in that I can't make someone buy my house. I have to leave that up to them and the agents, and then I can start moving again. But what I can do, so I might not be able to move forward in the house selling process, but I can start my decluttering, I can start putting things away, and I can start planning ahead for what I want to do once I've moved, because that puts that intention out there into the universe that I still want to get moving and I still have plans. I'm not just going to sit here and let it kind of take me over, which is a very easy mood to get into sometimes. And I've been there, I've done it the last couple of weeks, so it's up to me now to snap myself out of it and start thinking ahead to actually moving and putting that intention out there into the universe for myself, because no one else is going to do that for me. So yeah, please send your positive energy to me. Let's get the house sold, please, 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 please. Yeah, fingers crossed. So I hope it's been helpful today. I hope I haven't waffled on too much. I know I do go off on a tangent sometimes, but it's just something that I care a lot about, and it's a process that I think is really helpful for people. And I really do believe that, and it's true, everything lies with you, and you can sit still and make excuses, or you can do something about it. Basically, that's what it comes down to. So I hope you all have a wonderful holiday season, however you're celebrating and whatever it is that you do. I'm going to be taking a 2-week break from Crystals and Coffee because, well, next week is Christmas and Boxing Day, and then the week after my boys are still home from school. So the next episode will be out. It'll be Thursday the 7th / Friday the 8th of January. That's when we're back to normal, back on a weekly basis, and hopefully I'll have some good news about my house, fingers crossed. So yeah, have a great holiday season, and as always, there are links in the description for my socials and my YouTube channel and Patreon as well, if you'd like to become a Crystals and Coffee member moving into the new year. And I will be back very soon. So thank you for listening and take care. Bye.